I'm just going to go through a few of the apps that are on this iPad and show some of the things that the children can use it for. Now, the first thing is that they might be doing some online learning with their school, and schools use different things for online learning. One of the most popular things is an app called Seesaw. So you can see it on the screen here where it says Seesaw. So I can search for it just by going from side to side there, but if I just tap it, it'll open like this. Now, when it says I'm a student, school will give the children a text code which they type in there, or a QR code that you can tap to use the camera to scan it, and then that will link to their class and they'll be able to see all the work that the teacher has set them. So once they've got that set up with their class, they'll see the work from the teacher and they'll be able to get onto it there. That's the first thing. The second thing is really very similar. It's called Class Dojo. So if I open Class Dojo, if your school's using Class Dojo, then on here they would say I'm a student, and they would get a code that they can scan. If you say I don't have a QR code, then you can enter a code to sign in. So you might have been sent a code or a QR code if your school uses Class Dojo. Now, there are some other things as well. You might use Google Classroom, which is this icon here. So your school might be using one of these. So if I tap on here, Google Classroom, it will ask you to sign in with a Google account. So if your child has been given a Google account from school, then they can tap Get Started, and then it will ask them to sign in with their school Google account. Okay, so that won't be a regular home Google account, it will be a school Google account. Okay, so we'll close that. So those are some of the ways that your school might set your child work to do. There are some other apps that we've put in here that you can log in to use. For example, Times Table Rockstars. If school pays for Times Table Rockstars, then they can click on here and then they'll be given some login information and they can log into that as well. Now, other things that you might log into, up here where we've got these icons here, these all really go to the same website. So if I tap this green one that says online learning, then this will launch up to a page, and again this depends what your school signs up to. So we've got links to things like Purple Mash, Education City, Active Learn, and so on. So they'll have some logins. So if I go to My Maths, for example, it will take me to a login page. Now, some schools will use My Maths, other schools won't, but if your child's school uses My Maths, they will be able to get on the website there to access it, and that goes for the same with everything else that's on that page. So iMovie is a really great app that we can see here, and we've got a guide. If you go to our useful sites page here, you will see that when this loads up, there's a couple of things at the bottom. There's cookery video with iMovie, making a story with iMovie, where we've made YouTube videos showing you how you can actually use those, so they can take some instructions and make them into a little film using pictures or using video or using a mix of both. So that's one way that you can get started to use iMovie, and once you've used it for that, you'll be able to see you can use it for lots more. So this one that's called Puppet EDU, it's actually called Shadow Puppet. If I open this, this is really great because what it lets you do is it lets you take photographs, and then you can talk over the top of those photographs, recording your voice. So you can go to the camera and you can take your own photos, or what I've done here is I've gone to Google Images and then I've searched for some pictures, and when I find the one that I want, I put my finger on it and then I choose Add to Photos, and then that will save that picture. I can then come back to Shadow Puppet and I'm going to go Create New, and then you can see I've got my pictures there, so I can choose them 1, 2, and then I can say Next, and then it asks me if I want to use the microphone, so I'll say OK, And then what this lets me do is it lets me talk over the picture. So I might think of something that I want to say to describe this lion, so I can come up with a noun phrase where I'm talking about the lion, and then I tap start and it'll start recording my voice, and I can pause it anytime I want, and to get onto the next one I just swipe on the screen and it will go onto the next one. And I can use, if the picture's too small, I can use my fingers to zoom in and zoom out. So I'll just go back and show you what that looks like. So I tap on it and then I get a little countdown. A powerful lion sits in the afternoon sun. So I've just paused that so I can think what I want to say for the next picture. Go to the next picture and I'm ready to record. An enormous elephant lifts its trunk to reach the juicy leaves. And then when I've finished, I just tap save, and then that will save it as a little video. So it'll pop up on my screen and I can watch it, but when I've finished I tap done, and then it just says save to camera roll, and then that's saved a video for me. So I can talk over the top of lots of pictures. So next let's have a look at Draw and Tell HD.
Welcome to Draw and Tell.
So what this does is it lets me talk, or it lets me do some drawing over the top of some pictures. I'm just going to turn the sound down because it's playing some music that's quite loud here. You can actually turn that off in the settings, but if I go and choose some paper, and then if I tap on the pens in the top corner, then I can see all these different colours, and I've got paint brushes, so I can paint on the screen. So I can paint what I want to paint, and then when I'm happy with that, there's lots of other things I can do. I can change the backgrounds, and I can rub things out, and so it's worth having an explore. But really importantly, I can talk about what I've drawn up here, so I can press this button and then it will record my voice. So yeah, so I can record that. So I'll just cancel that, and then once it's recorded, it saves as a video to your camera roll. So it's a great app where you can actually do lots of drawings and lots of paintings. If you go into Superhero HD, then when this launches, you'll see that there is a little video which will show you how to do this. So you can use this to make your own comics. There's lots of things that you can do with it, but the best thing to do with that is to watch the little video to show how it works, see how it works. Underneath that we've got busy things. So this is the busy things busy bundle, and within this there's only most of these you won't be able to use. There's just this one that you can use. So this is really great for problem solving, this particular app, where the children have got to get the cow into the bath underneath there. So you've got to move this helicopter around, and then you've got to pick up the cow and you've got to drop it into the bath. So you'll see that you drop it in like that. So there's lots of problem solving in this, and it gets harder and harder as you go along. So if I just come out of here, if I just go back into that and tap this button up here, you'll see you've got some settings. So you can tap this spanner and then you can set the levels. So at the moment it will just automatically go from the easiest right through to the hardest, but you can reset that as you go through. So it's really good for problem solving, is that one. This next one, Geoboard, is where you can make different 2D shapes just by dragging these out, just like you would with real elastic bands. So you can put different shapes on there, and you can drag them out. So the best thing to do with this is, if you want to save what you've done, then you can take a photo of this just by holding down the power and the home button, and you can press it, and then that will save a little photo of it. You can do that in any app. So you'll see you've got lots of other controls down here where you can make it a bigger board, or you can change some different settings on there. So that's Geoboard, where you can make lots of different 2D shapes. Now we've also got Squeeble's number bonds down here at the bottom on the right hand side. And so you need to add a player. So you'll see that I've added a player there. I've put my name on there, Tim. Okay, so when I tap that, I can go in here and I can look at these different number bonds. So I can look at number bonds up to 10, and then I can choose a game, and then I can go into that game, and then I can start to work through. And you'll see it says, how do I play this game down here? And so it will show you how you can actually play it. Okay, so if I go into this one and go into balancing act and go into that one, then what I can see is 4 add something equals 10. So I've got to get the right one and put it there, and it tells me that I've done it correctly. So we're going to have a look at YouTube Kids. So we'll just let this load. It just goes through this screen first. And then what we need to do is we need to set this up as a parent first. So if I say I'm a child, it just says you've got to get a parent to unlock it. So I say I'm a parent, and then what I have to do is I have to set this up. So I have to put my I have to put a date of birth in there. So I'll just do this screen and then come straight back to you. So now you can sign in as a parent with a Google account, so you can control what your children can see. You can do this without a Google account, but it doesn't give you as much control. So if I go to this next arrow, and then I can add my Google account in there, which is what we recommend that you do. But if you don't, and I skip that, then what I have to do then is I have to choose the age of the child. So I can either set it so I have to approve everything that they look at there, or I can go to this one. So we're going to go for ages 5 to 7, and then I'm going to say select on here, so I can look, choose select, and then it will give me a tour of the different things that I can look at in the parental guide here. So we've got some information for parents on there, and once that's loaded, then we see all these things on here that the children can use to explore. So I'm just going to turn my sound down on my video. Okay, so we've got this screen here that says reading stories, so we can load this up, and then it will load the content that we can see on there. So it's much better than full YouTube. It gives you much more control. So on this page, the first thing that you can see is sock puppets. So we've got an app. I'm just going to say no to notifications on here. So if I say new, then this lets us choose some characters that we can put on the screen. So I choose my characters, then I'm going to tap next, and now I can choose what the background I want to look like, and I'm going to tap next, and then on there I can choose if I want any other characters or anything to appear on the stage. So I might have a tree, and I'm going to tap next, and then this sets it up. So okay, we need the microphone, and then if I record this, then it will save it as a little video of these two talking to each other, a bit like this. So I press the red button. Hello, how are you today? I'm fine, how are you? And then I press stop, and then that will save the video. So you might not be able to hear that, but it's playing my voice in a bit of a high pitched. And so if I want to save it, it's this middle button up here that looks like an old disc. If I tap on that, then I want to save it on my device, so that's going to save that in the camera roll. So I'm just going to give it a name, call mine hello, save it, and then that will save to the camera roll. So that's where we can use that. So I can use the home button to get back to the start on there. So that's great fun for recording stories and practicing speaking. So the next one, we've got doodle art, which is another drawing. Doesn't really take much explanation, so you can see all the different things that you can use to draw on there. And then the other one we've got here is we've got reading eggs. Now reading eggs is another one where children need to sign in with a school account. So if the school's got a school account, you can sign into reading eggs, but you need an account to sign in. And then we've got Google Docs, Google Slides, and Google Sheets. Now they work with Google Classroom, so if the school's using Google Classroom, then children will have a Google account and they'll need to sign into them. So to use any of these, you need to sign into a Google account where you can do some typing. So if you want to do any writing and you you just want to write, then you can use things like Notes, or you can also use Pages. So Pages is a bit like Apple's version of Microsoft Word. So we can come in here and then create a document, and then this lets us make anything that we want. So we can do some typing, get a blank document, put that up on the screen, and then that will let us do typing just like we did before. So you could use Notes, which is very straightforward and simple, or Pages, which gives you lots more options. So I hope that's useful. That gives you some ideas of some of the apps and some of the things that you can do with this iPad.